Mr. York, are you now under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or narcotics? You understand you are charged with 40 counts of aggravated child molestation, that you could receive a maximum sentence of 30 years in confinement for each count, that you are charged with 34 counts of child molestation, that you could receive a maximum sentence of 20 years in confinement for each count, that you are charged with 1 count of sexual exploitation of children, and you could receive a maximum sentence of 20 years in confinement, and you are charged with 2 counts of influencing witnesses, and you could receive a maximum sentence of 10 years in confinement for each count, and that you could receive a minimum sentence overall of 10 years on probation. I'm telling you the most and the least. Do you understand that?
Actually, Your Honor, it was 10 years aggravated child molestation, and the minimum is 10 years in confinement.
But minimum then would be 10 years. You understand that? You understand you have a right to an attorney, and in fact, your lawyer, Mr. Aurora, is here with you and representing you. Is that correct? I'm going to inform you of certain other rights that you have, Mr. York, and inform you of the fact that if you plead guilty, you give up these rights. You have a right to trial by jury. You're presumed to be innocent. You have a right to confront any witnesses the state presents against you. You have a right to subpoena any witnesses you want to appear and testify for you. You have a right to testify and offer other evidence if you want to. You have a right to the assistance of an attorney during a trial. You have a right not to incriminate yourself. You have a right to plead not guilty or remain silent, not in any plea, and in either case automatically obtain a jury trial. You understand these rights, and understand if you plead guilty, you give up these rights. You heard the recommendation the state made. Is that the recommendation you understood the state would make? Did you, in fact, do what the district attorney, Mr. Dwight, told me you did? How do you plead, guilty or not guilty, as to all the indictments that were cited by the district attorney? Did anybody force you or threaten you in any way to cause you to enter this guilty plea? Did anyone promise you anything to cause you to enter this guilty plea? Are you satisfied with the services of your attorneys, not only Mr. Aurora, but your other attorneys? Were you able to hear and understand my statements and questions to you? He's under oath, let him enter his plea.
Your Honor, we've drawn up this withdrawal of not guilty plea and your guilty plea, and it comes down to both the defendant both trial case, withdraws his plea not guilty in this case, waivers his constitutional rights, and pleads guilty as charged with offenses of. I've already enumerated those on the record. They're the same ones I've enumerated on before, Your Honor. I signed on behalf of the state. Baskin signed on behalf of the state.
Clear? Malachi York, I find you plead guilty was freely, voluntarily, and knowing manner. There was a factual basis for your plea. I accept your plea.
Vanera Franklin, born April 11, 1986, currently 16 years of age. Vanera was approached, stated that her molestation began when she was approximately 9 years of age. It began in Eaton and included oral and vaginal intercourse and continued into Athens. It ended in 2000 when she left. She specifically was quite graphic as to her first misunderstanding as to what was going on. She was 9 years of age and the defendant made her undress and began to touch her and asked her if it felt good, and she's 9 and she's naked and she didn't understand. And then had her touch him, and she didn't understand what she was supposed to do. Then that childlike confusion was quickly replaced with sexual sophistication and knowing what to do. Vanera Franklin, also an individual who, under the cloak of being in the company of other individuals, managed to talk to law enforcement, but begged that the information not come out. She was afraid of her mother and she was afraid of her grandmother. And lastly, Your Honor, in the indictment, I introduced you to Abu Salam Muhammad of the Little Road. She was born on March 20th, 1984, approximately 16 years of age. His molestation began at 14 years. It began at 18 and included oral and anal. And though he's quite graphic about his own molestation, one story that he was pretty explicit about, something that struck him, was during one of these acts where there was group sex going on. Issa Johnson was present. And he witnessed Mr. York anally penetrate Issa Johnson. And as he told me, he'd never seen eyes that looked like that. He said he could tell that Issa was in a massive amount of pain, but he was amazed that Issa never shed a tear. That's how he knew it had been going on for a long time. Because at 14, Abdul Salam would scream out in pain when the defendant attempted to anally penetrate him, and yet here was this 9-year-old who did not. The defendant is pleading guilty to the counts involving the 13 individuals on the indictment, but I think it behooves this record to make sure that the court is aware, pursuant to the similar transaction motions, and I want the record to be clear. Habiba Washington, Nicole Lopez, Sakina Woods, Sakina Park, Khalid Eddington, Shawty Perez, Alexis Perez, Keturah Lampkin, Atia Thomas, Sahelia Williams, Sahelia Thomas, Keturah Eddington, Kwamra Muhammad, and Aquila Smith fall in that category of victim as well. I just wanted to make sure that the court was introduced to the victims in this case.